Your Congressman Pat Meehan sits on the Homeland Security and Oversight Government Reform Committees, and he joins us from Philadelphia. Good evening, Congressman.
Hey, good evening, Judge. Nice to be with you.
Nice to have you here tonight. All right. You know, one of the issues that the committee is going to be looking into are the reports that as many as 60 prior violent assaults may have preceded this actual terrorist attack in Benghazi. Could you tell us anything about this?
Well, Judge, of course, you know from your experience, one of the things is when you have whistleblowers or insiders that bring information, and that has motivated the activities of this committee, and information which suggests that there were numerous opportunities for a prudent department to be looking at the activities, including, as you identified, attacks on the British interests there, actual attacks, including ones with IEDs on the consulate itself, the American consulate, in June. So an awareness that there should have been a much higher appreciation for the risk. And those are the facts that we would like to try to have the State Department answer to.
And, you know, it's interesting, Congressman, that in the letter that was sent to Hillary Clinton as the Secretary of State, there are at least 13 separate attacks, prior attacks identified. But they say that multiple U.S. federal government officials have confirmed that the U.S. mission in Libya had made repeated requests for increased security, but it was denied. If you find that to be the case, and you also were able to determine, at least from his own diary, that the ambassador was in fear, what are the sanctions? What are the consequences? What can you do?
Well, first we have to start with the facts to determine that. When you get sanctions, my sense is it's accountability should be for anybody within the organization who turned a blind eye to those requests. But our principal concern, of course, is to make sure that we understand how these decisions are being made in the first place. We're talking about an Arab Spring. We're talking about a representation of State Department employees in a lot of other dangerous places around the world. And we want to make sure that communications are working effectively and they're appropriately protected in other locations as well.
And, you know, Congressman, you can even look at Fast and Furious. I mean, that took forever to resolve itself. And the allegations that were made by Darrell Issa, you know, turned out to be pretty accurate. But there were few, if any, consequences. And my question is this. Will there be a review or assessment of Ambassador Rice's comments about this being a fake movie that was the spur of this? And will there be some kind of accountability in terms of funds or making sure that our embassies are protected in these dangerous areas?
Well, let me start with the comments of Ambassador Rice, and that is clearly going to be one of the issues that's going to be the subject of the inquiry by the Oversight Committee. You had comments almost a full 5 days after the incident, still continuing to suggest that the motivation for this was the film that had been made that was inciting activity in the region. Within 24 hours, you had comments from the country by Libyan officials themselves, which suggested that it was a well-organized attack by Al-Qaeda. So why would the State Department be making comments that seem to be contrary to the facts? And certainly the issue as to whether or not this was a misrepresentation or even a sort of a misdirection, some might even suggest cover-up of what was known and what actually happened, is going to be part of what's looked at.
All right. Thank you very much, Congressman Meehan, for being with us tonight. And good luck on Wednesday. I'm sure that the hearings will continue and hopefully provide information for the American people. And former Deputy Assistant